Hello and welcome everybody tuning in. Coming right up, we'll be talking about the Switch 2's rocky first year.
And for my part, I'll be going into the two films from this last year that I would consider two of the best, and that I would consider show my biggest problem with film fans. My name is Pina.
My name is Fricka.
And you are watching Screenside.
Right. So, both you and I were there at the front lines. Day one, getting a Switch 2. And despite what people may think about the console, or what we may think about the console, it has been a massive success. Fastest selling console of all time. But it hasn't been without its hiccups.
Yeah.
Coming up, well, yeah. So, we'll be talking about some of the controversies that it's had, but also how good their first party lineup has been so far. Because there have been some good games. There have been some controversial games as well. So going to the beginning of it all, I think the first big controversy around the Switch 2 was $80 Mario Kart World.
Yeah, no, that was a bad way to start it. I mean, we were used to Mario Kart 8, which was, I believe, 50 at release? I believe the original Wii U one. It might have been 60 on the Switch, and plus the 20. But, it was 96 tracks, and suddenly here it was, a game that had not even half the tracks that the previous one had, and it was so much more expensive. I remember it. Yeah.
To be fair, the 96 tracks to get the 96 tracks, it's like I think it's MSRP for Mario Kart 8, it's $60, and then with the DLC, it's an extra $20. So
Yeah.
it's the same price as Mario Kart World for half the tracks.
Yeah, of course, obviously, and that's what I'm saying. But it's so much content, and so much, I would say, and you would say otherwise, but so much good content that I feel that was the biggest shock. And before we just move on to the controversies we were discussing earlier, I mean, we were so excited for this console, right? I mean, uh, famously, one of our members of the audience, I believe, was standing on that midnight line and absolutely lost it from what he told me. I had my vacation from my job, which was a television job, right, where I had awful schedules, and it really made it hard for me to play video games. It ended the day before the release, and with you, I mean, you ordered the console, and it didn't come in the morning because of Amazon, right? And I remember
No, it was Royal Mail. I got it directly from Nintendo. I got the Switch 2, I got two GameCube controllers, I got a Pro controller, I got a case, I got of course with the bundle Mario Kart World, and I think what was the other thing? I got a memory card. So I got the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, and I remember you being so absolutely angry that you didn't get the console immediately because we were so excited. And me, I remember myself, I was like, I'm not gonna order it because I know how mail is. It's not gonna get here on time. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna get out of work. I had been working since 5 a.m., which meant I woke up at 3 a.m. on that day. I got out of work. I went immediately to my local store and I got the console and I got home. And instead of going to sleep, I just played Mario Kart World and I was beyond. I was so happy with it. I mean, the console's so beautiful. It's so good. It's so much better than the Switch One. It really solves all the problems that had. I don't know if you would agree.
Yeah, no, the quality of the hardware itself, of course, I think the biggest concern when it comes to the hardware is the screen. And I've heard some issues about like ghosting or something, some technical things, I'm not too sure. But even though it isn't a OLED panel and it's a LCD once again, it's a pretty good screen. It looks quite good. I understand that you don't play handheld too much, but I like playing my Switch 2 in handheld. Admittedly, I don't quite like the ergonomics of the Joy-Con 2s because while I do really appreciate how thin they are, and that means they're very quite portable still, I did buy a D-brand case at one point to sort of just help with the ergonomics in handheld mode, and it's just made it like 10 million times better using it in my bed and so on.
Yeah, no, I would say, yeah, I would say that's definitely a plus. I've played it a few times. Usually, I use it to go to the toilet.
Oh yeah, the test if a handheld is good, how well does it play on the toilet?
Yeah, I mean, what else do you need a handheld for, realistically? I mean, I'm pooping. I need something to entertain me. There's no magazines in my toilet. Can you believe people actually had magazines in their toilets?
I I assume people did that. It's like everywhere.
Anyway, yeah, and aside from the $80 games, there was some other things that you want to discuss.
Yeah. So the other thing with pricing was, the console itself. It was $450, which I'd consider, to be honest, a fair price. It's not the best deal ever, but it's not like like a PS5 Pro situation where it's like $800 and everybody was up in arms. But although recently there has been a price increase, it is going to be going up to $500. They did give a
Dude,
long
that
warning.
is
It's
that is ridiculous. Oh my
in
god.
September. It's starting. So
Yeah, no, I was thinking of the other price increases that's going to be. That's ridiculous that Nintendo, the one that usually gets the most, complaints about anything they do and everything they do. I mean, is the only one that's doing like a fair price increase. It's like $50
yeah,
with 4 months in advance of
dude,
a
it's
warning.
ridiculous for PS5 and Xbox. It's like I don't understand how that's a fair entry point for a car. The only reason people can be paying this price is because of GTA 6. There's no other reason to buy in PS5 or Xbox anymore.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And I mean, you have it here on your notes. I'm looking at them right now. I mean, this is all because of the tariffs. It's really not not really even
No,
Nintendo's
yeah.
fault. It's not really, you know, sometimes Nintendo's very greedy because Nintendo's a company, and companies, believe it or not, their main end goal in life is to make more money, and not really to sustain whatever. I don't know. We don't live in some sort of a communist utopia. We live in like the real world where companies are mostly evil and want to make money. So you gotta sort of expect that from companies. But in this case, I feel like it is sort of justified. I mean, uh, funnily enough, I can't believe Donald Trump is ruining a lot of children's lives by not letting them play this wonderful new Mario Kart game. Once again, I think Donald Trump proves to be horrible to any and all children. I don't think I need to explain
Uh,
what I mean by that.
okay. Uh, even though the tariffs aren't as much as a issue as it was like a year ago when the Switch 2 was coming out, even though the tariffs are sort of a non-issue now, it's been replaced by a new issue with the memory price increases and the memory shortages, which it's just been rough for any like the Steam Deck. Like there was constant comparisons between the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck. It's like, oh, the Steam Deck's a little bit cheaper than the Switch 2. Now it's like it's not even funny. The Steam Deck's like $950. It's complete. The whole playing field has been changed in 1 year.
Yeah, I remember. I remember getting the news for that. I got a tweet from this Portuguese YouTuber I follow, and I see the news, and I'm like, I was in voice chat with you. I got the news like on the moment, and I was like, "Frick, you're not gonna believe this. It's almost $1,000.
Ridiculous.
It
It
is.
isn't their fault, but it's just oh my god.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, I thought, when was the last time a console was that expensive? Wasn't it like in the 80s when like, I don't know, I think one of those
Well,
stupid
like the
consoles,
light displays.
not even the light displays, because I think stuff like, not, what's called, is it the MSX I'm thinking of, which was like $400, which would be something close to $1,000 nowadays. I believe like in the 80s and 70s consoles were expensive because they were new, especially the 70s. I mean, that's so novel, only to play like a game that has two lines, but it's like a novelty at the time. And I think hardware was so expensive at the time. It used to be like $1,000. We cannot be going back to the 70s. I mean, Richard Nixon has been out of that White House for a while. We cannot be doing this. It's a bit ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the big points of defense for this whole price debacle is like, oh, if you go back in the day, games were so expensive back in the day, and adjusted for inflation, they're even more expensive than the games being sold today. Like I think one of the examples is Final Fantasy VI, one of my favorite games of all time. On
One of
release was
my
like $80.
one of my most detested, but yes, please go on.
80 dollars on launch. Adjusted for inflation, I can't even imagine how much it is today.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's really a very weak argument, I would say, because I mean, like, games have been getting cheaper for a while. I mean, when we were young, I think, I mean, I remember buying DS and Wii games for like 30 euro, 40 euro DS ones, and then 50 for the Wii. And that's really cheap, even with inflation. I feel like that is really, really cheap. Like, imagine, I think I bought, or my grandma bought, because I was very young. I remember this, Mario and Luigi, in the Bowser's Inside Story, right? Which is one of the biggest games out there for Nintendo and for the DS. And I think it was 20 euro, which is ridiculous. Can you imagine that pricing nowadays?
No, no. I, I, it, it's, I mean, I just, with the whole pricing thing, the only way that the gaming industry is going to remain successful and remain sustainable is that if it becomes more accessible. And the only way it remains accessible is if games remain cheap. And that's the GTA 6 pre-orders are opening soon, and I dread if that game is anywhere above $70 because one
That
of the
game.
biggest fears with Mario Kart World with $80 is that it was going to set a precedent and that more games were going to be $80, which didn't end up happening in the long run so far.
So far, no,
Um,
I mean, uh, I think any main Mario game is going to be $80 now. I think that's sort of the real concern that the
yeah,
Switch
I
2.
think yeah. The Pokemon game, that's going to be $80. I already know.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Pokemon sells like like hotcakes, so it's normal. And I think I remember watching at the time, or a bit some months after. Did you know Gaming released that video that I like quite a bit? That sort of analyzes the whole situation through a journalistic perspective, right? Because they go back in time and see what the trends are, and see why fans act in such a manner or act in another manner, or who's right, who's wrong. And they don't really do that assessment, but they do this analysis. And they make an interesting analysis, I think, which is with the Switch 2, which is such a premium product, right? And I would say every Nintendo game right now is so very polished. And even last week we were complaining that they don't really announce games that they're not ready to announce, right? I think Nintendo has realized that this sort of strategy of becoming premium and deluxe is sort of where they're going now. There's no bargains. There's no discounts
Yeah.
ever. They treat their product as if it's solid goddamn gold, and that's sort of
Yeah, they feel like they
where
feel
there's
like the Apple of the video game industry right now.
yeah, because they looked at this Apple, I mean, which really is the greatest example, where it has such a brand loyalty and it operates not on quality but on brand loyalty, really, and makes a bunch of money because of that. And I was on Twitter today, and people were a bunch of Nintendo fans were like, "Oh, Nintendo is great because it builds up IP confidence. It builds their IP, which builds up brand loyalty." And that's very true, really, when you think about it. I mean, the true ticket. Let's put it this way: the true ticket sales from Nintendo is in Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong nowadays. And I believe this. And I've talked about this, I think, plenty of times, but I really think so. They're delaying this Mario game to build up the rest of their IPs, and it's being
Hmm.
incredibly successful, I think, because suddenly people are gonna like, oh, there's no Mario, let me buy this game instead, and there's so many games to buy, uh, and they buy it and they like it and they go back to play the other ones and they build their IPs, and instead of just relying on one or two, they're sort of building up this brand loyalty to their brand, and I think that's why we're seeing $80 games, $500 console, very clean, very deluxe, very premium, I think, is their strategy.
Yeah, and as we move on to the next section, we're gonna see that this sort of strategy of putting a spotlight on other not quite put in the forefront IPs is definitely a strategy that they've been going with. So now what we're gonna do, and it's not something that we've tried on the show yet. It's a real bum activity.
Yeah, in fact, I
Tier
remember.
lists.
I remember when we were planning the show back in December. I think was when we first started talking about the show. You went, "Oh, can we do tier lists?" And I went, "Let's try not to." But I don't even think it's like a content thing. I mean, you do so many tier lists in your spare time. You really just enjoy doing
Yeah,
these things that it really is sort
yeah.
of just how you communicate yourself. And I guess here's the tier list for our dear viewers. And could you explain what
So
it is?
yeah, so I've played pretty much every Switch 2 major release, and we have all the major games. We have games like Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, big first party games. Then we also have the smaller releases like Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour, Dragon Quest Drive. We have the Nintendo GameCube NSO lineup that also came with the Switch 2. And then also on top of that is the Nintendo Switch 2 editions. We're not going to be judging per se the games themselves, the original games, because these are all old games, but more so the upgrades that were provided. Although an exception made in the case for Legend ZA and Metroid Prime 4, considering that they were new releases at the time. So we may as well start with where it all began, Mario Kart World.
Which,
You had very interesting thoughts when you first played the game, didn't you?
yes, although I think you're antagonizing me already, but whatever.
No, no, no.
No, because
I'm just saying this is what happened.
no, because I think you're misremembering. Because, and I'm sure I have plenty of testimony in our audience from people who hang out with us. When that game released, and let's set the stage. I have 450 hours on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I spent a lot of
Yeah.
time. I believe I managed to, at the end, get to 16,000 VR, which is a pretty good amount of VR if you know anything about Mario Kart 8 online scene. I mean, I played that game a lot. I did time trials. I really enjoyed that game. So it's normal to me that when a new Mario Kart game released, and it was so different, I was like, I need time for this. I need to give this the right time because I don't know if this is good or bad yet, and I can't be judging off the bat. Unlike a certain someone named a Fricka You that immediately went, before even playing the game, this is the best game ever. This game is amazing.
I didn't. No, I didn't say it's the best game. The only time I ever did that was with Tears of the Kingdom. But Mario Kart World, I think I thought at the beginning of playing it, and now still it is the best Mario Kart game.
See, I just wouldn't agree with that. I think Mario Kart World is a fantastic Mario Kart game, but it is not comparable to other Mario Kart games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, let me put it this way, is the apogee of what came before it. It is the ultimate Mario Kart game where drifting is the main mechanic. And although my favorite Mario Kart game, I would say, is either Double Dash or 8, I would say that 8 is in fact the superior game. 8 Deluxe. 8 for the Wii U is a very weird game. That said, when it released, I remember thinking, this is a bit boring. You remember that. You know, that first day I went, right now, and this is what I said. You took it out of context so many times, but I said, I don't know what to think yet. Right now, I don't think it's very good. And I remember Knight was in the voice chat. I believe he could say the same thing. I think Fruit was also in the voice chat. I didn't immediately reject it. I just went, I think it's too early. We don't know the shortcuts. We don't know the mechanics. People haven't figured out anything basically off of this game. And I think you were a bit rose-eyed as opposed to me, where I was taking it a bit more seriously. It just, and after that, when they started figuring out the new shortcuts, how the jumps and charge boosts actually work, that drifting wasn't really how the game was meant to be played, then my opinion changed, and I have a bunch of hours on it, and I really like the game, although I haven't touched it in a while yet, but for a while I just played it every day for like 2 or 3 hours. It's a really good game. And I would say it's the best Mario Kart of its kind because it's the only one of its kind. And I cannot wait for a sequel or a DLC where they build upon it because I think some things are still lacking for this game. Is that not a fair assessment?
To give you some credit, I think the initial reception from a lot of people, not from myself, but I feel like a lot of people, and you said this at the very start of its life cycle before the shortcuts were found, that a lot of the tricking system was pretty pointless, and the most optimal way to play was just to drive in a straight line, and that all the tracks were just straight lines. And a lot of people still carry that opinion, but I feel like after a lot of the shortcuts were found, it's sort of the box has been opened.
Yeah,
and
definitely. No,
it,
definitely.
It's become evident that Mario Kart World, it is very different from past Mario Kart games, where it feels like Mario Kart is now merged with, the only way I can really put it, it's been merged with like Tony Hawk. Like so much about races isn't just about, because in previous Mario Kart games there were loads of shortcuts, but once a shortcut was found, like 3 or 4 shortcuts were found for a single track, that was basically it. You'd maybe get one shortcut every decade. It's not very common.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true. And I mean, the worst Mario Karts, and I'm gonna get my head on a spike, and you too. But the worst Mario Karts, such as Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart DS, are the ones where there's basically no shortcuts. I mean, Mario Kart DS is just snaking, and the same thing for 64. They're just not very good racing games in that regard. And then you look at Double Dash and Wii and 8 Deluxe, and that's sort of what they're going for. It's how can you use the drift in a way where you can take advantage of the tracks themselves. And I believe what you're saying is Mario Kart World just completely turns the formula on its head, right?
oh no, just on the base level, without even looking deep into the mechanics of the game, it still already has way more shortcuts per track and potential compared to other games. But then once people actually started experimenting, people start trying to discover different shortcuts. there are just so many to the point where it's like in actually in online races, we're not talking about time trials. Going for different shortcuts isn't just about okay, you have to be very consistent, bang, bang, bang. You have to get this shortcut, and then you're clear. Although there are a couple of tracks like that, but with Mario Kart World, it feels like so much of it is like learning how to freestyle and experiment on the flow. The different items you have, especially on the intermission or route tracks in the game. That many people said, oh, they're straight lines. They're very simple. I feel like once you sort of cut the knife in there and start experimenting a lot, there is a lot of potential for shortcuts. But many people just don't want to dig that deep. It is a very high skill ceiling game.
Mario Kart World?
A lot of bagging. Yeah.
I would, yeah, but it's very beginner friendly, I would say, because
it is beginner friendly, but it also has high skill ceiling.
I would say it's beginner friendly. I was watching Shortcat, I believe, today talk about this, because actually today, I believe, is quite literally the 1 year. Is it released today? 1 year ago?
No, it was June 5th. That was
June 5th.
Switch 2.
Yeah, I guess it was a bit ago still. But he released this video, and he makes this good argument, which is the mechanics in Mario Kart World are easier for beginner players to see pro players do and understand how they work, right? Because you see during the races people doing that stuff, and you're like, oh, let's go there. And it's not like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is like, oh, he's doing neutral, what do you call it? It's neutral drifting or whatever the hell is the technical name of it, which is like you could never discern this. While as in Mario Kart World, you can actually discern what's happening when you watch pro players play. So beginners have an easier time copying and learning these moves from professional players. But that said, there are still problems, I would say. When the intermission tracks, I think, are still not ideal. Not because they are bad per se.
Once you dig in, there are some good ones.
I agree. It's that annoying Nintendo thing that Nintendo loves to do, which is forcing the way they want the game to be played, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. But in this case, I would say is a bit bad because it's not done very naturally. And I'm sorry about those Steam notifications. I thought I turned them off. Anyway, let's stop dilly-dallying here. What do you rank it?
I'd put it in S.
An S.
It's still I wouldn't say it's the best Switch 2 game, but it's definitely the biggest. It is when you think of Switch 2, Mario Kart World still has the biggest link to its identity, for better or for worse. And it's just such an amazing racing game.
I don't know. I think it's lacking some classic Mario things, and there was someone in the audience saying that Mario Kart DS was the last good battle mode in Mario Kart, and someone here clearly has never played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's battle mode, which is absolutely fantastic. It's so much fun.
Okay, but let me ask you the question. What was the last time you played battle mode in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
I'm not saying that it's an essential thing. I'm just saying it is a core part, and that is very fun, and a lot of people really enjoy it more than you'd think. And I mean, for example, whenever I have people that want to play Double Dash with me, I don't even really want to do races. I'll just hop on the Bob-omb battle game, which is so much fun. It is absolutely ridiculous. But I would say Mario Kart World definitely is missing that. And I think
it does feel like they just kind of did it out of obligation.
Yeah, which I don't think is necessarily what they needed to do. But the other thing is I think free roam is a bit lacking, or as you have dubbed it because of my habit of going into Delfino Plaza and Mario Sunshine and walking around, you have dubbed it as autism mode, because you really got to be like a child with autism. Not saying that I'm a child with autism, but you got to be like, got to have like this childlike spirit to enjoy free roam, because there's really not much to do in it that gets you a reward, and it's really just for the joy of sort of driving around, which for children is great, but for adults who play video games, I would enjoy. I still don't understand why you don't unlock characters in free roam and instead unlock it I'm not even.
It is weird.
It is a bit bizarre.
People sort of just put their expectations way too high for free roam, and I think I did have my expectations pretty high at a certain point. But when it became clear and close to launch that free roam was sort of just a side mode, something you do in between races, not quite the focus of the game.
Yeah.
You can really start to appreciate it. But I can understand that some people were very disappointed by free roam because they expected some campaign or some actual tangible rewards. But actually, I just found it fun to go around doing all the missions, and I've since 100%ed everything. I got the medallions, I got the panels, done all the missions, and it's fun. It's a fun side thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. But I guess we can put it in S. I guess those things don't really peg it down from an S. I think you can do that ranking.
Yeah. Now, the next one, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. You have not played this game, have you? Well, this
not.
game in question marks.
I've not, but I watched it. I remember watching you playing it a bit.
Yeah, it is pretty much just you go around, you click on little information things. They give you information about the console, and then you complete quiz with some mini games here and there. And I think there is a lot of novelty in it. I understand why quite it wasn't a pack-in game, considering it is more of a how do I put it? More of a experience for big fans for Nintendo. People who actually care about because if you actually care about Nintendo and about the Switch 2, there are some really cool stuff in this game that they sort of talk about and explain that you'd be surprised Nintendo talking about. I would never think 5 years ago they'd be going this much in depth in the technical side of their consoles, or talking in depth about FPS and hertz. This is not something that Nintendo usually do. They try to Apple on fire.
No, yeah.
So there are some things to like in it, but it's not quite a in-depth experience.
Yeah, I would never imagine Nintendo doing that, especially because that sort of that sort of thing reminds me of that old Atari Jaguar ad. You know, the one where the teacher goes, the Super Nintendo has 16 bits, the whatever has 32 bits, and the Jaguar has 64 bits. Which is the better console? And then it's the Atari Jaguar, which sucks absolute balls. And that's sort of when any company tries to see, oh, we have the better stuff. I'm like, yeah, so did the Atari Jaguar. So what does that mean? But yeah, I mean, Welcome Tour seems fun. Expensive for what it is, but fun. I just don't understand. I feel like it could have been a pack-in. I feel like it could have easily been a pack-in.
It's a thing for enthusiasts. Not I feel like 80% of not even 80, 90% of children that actually would play Welcome Tour would not like it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I would, I'll just throw it. I would rank it a C or a D because it's not really a video game.
Yeah, it's a C.
Yeah,
I think it's a C for me.
Yeah, I just think it's a thing that exists, and that's
really... it exists.
Yeah,
nobody really talks about it any day. There was a big pause about it at launch, but nobody really talks about it.
Yeah, which
we've got.
Yeah, please go on.
We've got the other two. We've got three more things for the launch of the Switch 2. We got the two Nintendo Switch 2 editions, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And these are, for $10, pretty straightforward upgrades. You get better resolution, better frame rate, and you get compatibility with a mobile app that, to be fair, even though it has the weird navigation thing, it actually gives you achievements for the game and lets you see where everything is on the, which is kind of cheating. But when I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, I did a couple times have to look at those interactive maps. And even though I haven't used the mobile app, considering I've beaten both of these games already, I feel like it's a cool feature to have to go on the map and run. But it's pretty. It's not that important.
I want you to look at my face.
What?
My geriatric wheelchair grandfather was more useful than this goddamn thing.
What? Are you talking about the navigation?
I'm talking about the Switch 2 port. I mean, who the hell gives a goddamn? For $10, you get a little app on your phone that you never needed, and was that not what did the? I don't even understand what they were thinking.
Wait,
I just think it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous notion paying $10 for this.
but the games actually run well now, and it's included with Switch Online
The
if you have
game,
expansion pack.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's fair if it's like included in the online, but for $10, the game already ran well. It probably runs well on
It did
the
not
Switch.
run well. It did not run well.
Hey.
It literally did not run well.
Hey, I played that entire game. The only time it didn't run well was on like what Kakariko Village and the
Have
Master
you
Sword
used
place.
Ultra Hand? It
Uh,
lags so much when you use Ultra Hand.
Well, I just don't think it was necessary. I just don't think it's necessary
It
for
wasn't.
$10.
It was.
All I'm saying is, all I am saying is, if you
maybe not
pop
for money.
if you pop in Breath of the Wild into your Switch 2, it probably runs fine. It probably like solves the issues it had on Switch 1. You
Oh
know,
yeah, it's pretty stable frame rate, but it doesn't. It doesn't look.
yeah.
nice,
So
and
why
it
are you
doesn't run at
spending?
60?
Yeah, but who cares? It doesn't need that. I never
Care about 60 frames?
Yeah.
I care about 60 frames.
Yeah, ghouls are. You're a ghoul. You're a ghouly ghoul.
I'm not a no.
Sometimes you are. I've
a
seen your
ghoul, then.
penis. That's not true, but
What?
that's
What?
not true. That's not true. That's not true. But
This is a
no, it's F.
infringement.
It's F. It's F. This
It's
is
not an F.
It's F. It is F. It is F. It's what is the point of this? It's not
People
needed.
were demanding for this,
Okay,
dude.
okay, maybe they were demanding, but can we think about the release? I mean, Tears of the Kingdom already was what releasing? Had it already released? I don't even remember now. Like it's ridiculous. You have already the new game, which I guess is different, and some people don't like it. But it's like, oh, now you have 60 FPS and a goddamn phone app that I don't know who's going to be using this, and for $10. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous pricing. It's highway robbery.
All right, fine. I'll put it in D. I'll put it in D. All right. That's as far as I'm gonna go. I'm not putting in F. All right. The people wanted this. I wanted this. To be fair, I haven't properly given Tears of the Kingdom another playthrough that I intended to do when it's launched, but it's cool. It's good that it's there. Moving on to GameCube. What the hell have they been doing? They released like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and what was the other game this year? Fire Emblem, and that's it. Where's Mario Sunshine? Like, come on, guys. It's been a year, and we have not seen Mario Sunshine on the GameCube app.
Even though you can use the sound effects for some goddamn reason.
Yeah,
and
if you use the GameCube controller, which I have, it will have the sunshine sound effects, and also there's like a sunshine like screenshot to show you how the CRT filter works.
Yeah, and in the trailer, Mario Sunshine is quite literally there, and I don't understand the games. I mean, actually, I don't.
So odd.
We cannot give this an F.
It's not an F. No, because
we cannot.
Okay,
we cannot even
how
give.
weird
No. We cannot even give this a D.
I agree. Because while it has been very weird how they've been releasing games and very weird what games they've been putting on, I think it is very cool that they've been putting a spotlight on some of the weirder games like Wario World, F-Zero GX, and most notably,
my goat,
Chibi Robo.
Chibi Robo, our communal goat. I mean,
if it weren't for this app, I would not have played Chibi Robo. You would not have played Chibi Robo, and it is one of the best games ever.
It's true. I love that game so much. That was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever went through. And also, the other thing I would say is Mario Strikers online on the Switch, which is so much fun. It is so much fun.
Oh, right, yeah. Strikers, it's very good.
It's such a funny game to play online with your friends. And I hope they add, you know me, I love Mario Superstar Baseball. It's one of my favorite games, I would say. And I hope they add Star Fox Assault, which is one of the most fun multiplayer.
Oh, dude, Star Fox Assault on Switch Online would be so good.
Dude,
it's like
Yeah, go.
GameCube has so many like gems, like so many good games, the single player and multiplayer. I genuinely don't know how they're gonna get through the whole GameCube library at this pace because there's just so much that's good.
It is. There's so much that's good, and I think I would put it. I would put C just because they haven't released like some really obvious stuff that they should, and the release schedule is really inconsistent, and
Yeah.
also because the Nintendo Online like thing has this really weird thing that you know that I hate. I think you're gonna. This might be the biggest nitpick ever, but it ruins so many games for me. Those goddamn borders that they have on that system that are so distracting. You know what I'm talking about? The like,
No, I'm not. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you.
like
I just there should be an option to remove it.
why can't it not just be black bars and it be 4x3?
Yeah.
Why is there gotta be a very distracting dotted pattern on the sides? It's so stupid. It is the simplest thing ever, but whatever. Yeah, I would put it in C. Or
So we'll put in C.
yeah,
I think now is the time we're going to be opening the call. And so if you want to help us out to rank these games, you can join the waiting room in our Discord. Our Discord is accessible if you do the exclamation mark Discord command in the chat. So if you would like to come in and help us rank games, or if you have anything else to say, you can join that. All right, Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't think you like this game as much as I do, but I genuinely think this is the best 3D platformer I've played in recent memory.
I I have a weird relationship with this game. I think it's a fantastic game. There's no denying it's one of the best games out there. I think it extends itself a bit too much. I remember thinking that. I remember thinking at some levels I thought they were a bit too long and a bit too open for me. Um, and it was really fun, but sometimes, and because the mechanic is you just destroy everything, you
So fun.
which is very fun, but it makes level design very peculiar, which they pulled off, I would say. And I because I wasn't a when Odyssey released, I wasn't I obviously I was a big fan, but it was never by any means my favorite Mario game. Not even like I don't think there's plenty of Mario games I like more. And I mean Donkey Kong Bonanza is not a lot. It's not totally the same as Odyssey, but it's based on it. It's like an evolution of
It's the
Odyssey.
same DNA.
Yeah, it's the same DNA, and I feel like because I didn't like it that as much, I was sort of impaired in here where I wouldn't ever like this as much too. I think that's just because of me. I think it's a fantastic game. I wouldn't take it away.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, which is my biggest controversial opinion, I was not very happy with the ending, and I think
What?
yeah,
The ending?
yeah, I remember
Ooh.
because
This is like one of the best parts of the game.
yeah, because I never finished the original Donkey Kong games. I've
Also, spoilers. It's been a year, but with spoilers, that King K. Rool was in the game. Sorry.
yeah, like King
We
K.
can
Rool,
continue.
and my problem is exactly that. It's like instead of building these new villains that they have, or bringing King K. Rool from the start, they sort of just have these very weak characters that I really don't care
They're
about.
pretty. Okay, but let me raise you this: Void Kong or the Brutals from Odyssey?
Uh, eh, I guess Void Kong, but I mean it's come see come sa, you know. It's like we're same difference.
It's a million times better than the Brutals. Come on.
Okay, I guess, but I mean I like the planks of wood better. I'll say it, I like the planks of wood better.
What?
The planks of wood from from Donkey Kong Country Returns are iconic. I love those planks of wood. And my problem is they don't even try to build up these villains, I feel, because they're like, oh, here's King K. Rool at the end. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I don't really enjoy that very much. I was like, okay, this like because I don't have
Hype moments on aura.
it is if you were like if you played the other games. For new players like me, I was like, okay, I don't really care that much. Like I can understand how it's cool for people who really like King K. Rool. I've never cared about King K. Rool in my life. I think the biggest connection I have to King K. Rool is the Diddy drop rap from the cartoon, the French cartoon from the
All right,
90s.
man.
But still, that's it. I would put it as an A or an S, definitely. Yeah, I don't know.
It's the easiest S in my like with Bonanza. That it is sort of a follow up to Odyssey, and it fixes my biggest issue of Odyssey in that, it's sort of the whole point of Odyssey is that you sort of zip in and zip out different moons. It doesn't take too long to get a single moon. You're just getting them at a very rapid pace. But because Bonanza's controls are so amazing and so fluid and fast paced, and you're punching through everything, nothing can stop you. You're sort of zipping from banana to banana at a much faster pace than you would in Odyssey. It feels so much more satisfying and so much more natural. So it is just one of the best controlling platform. If anything, the best controlling 3D platform I've ever played.
That's a fair assessment. I just think I have a different taste from you. But yeah, that's fair.
All right. Who cares about Jamboree TV? Get it out of here. Get it out of here.
Yeah,
Nobody
no,
played
yeah,
this.
yeah. No, that's absolute. Like no, from what I understand, it's not even really very good. Like the new mini games and
No,
whatnot.
it doesn't even improve the base game. It's just a new mode. So, Drag X Drive. I actually played this for 20 minutes, and I haven't played it since.
I actually played this. Is a crazy way to start that. By the way, I actually played this.
I don't know who. There's probably like 10 ghouls that's still playing this game. I'm like, come on, guys, we gotta turn this into something competitive. We gotta start putting a league for the. It does have charm. I wouldn't say it has the Nintendo charm. It doesn't feel very Nintendo to make this kind of game.
Dude, I remember when it was announced, I was so excited for it, and then it released, and I didn't buy it. That's. I don't know what happened. I was like, oh my god, this looks so much fun, and you use the mouse, and then I just didn't. Because
It's just pretty unorthodox controls,
I
and
don't-
it's not the greatest.
like I don't even think it's that. I just think it looks like it has so little content, and I was like, I don't.
Oh no, literally you just go in games and that's it. And I think there's like a couple challenges in like the small room that you're in.
I would put it in D.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Like I might play it again just for like if it's funny, and at least Dragon's Tribe is funny. Not to say I'm laughing at the idea of wheelchair basketball, 'cause it does exist, but it is funny that Nintendo made a game like this.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of funny that they did the Paralympics, but like it's Tony Hawk Paralympics.
They tried something new, but they gotta save the mouse control gimmick for WarioWare Jiggle Your Dick. All right, man.
I don't know about this one.
Why is this caught on? If people talking about WarioWare Jiggle, okay.
I
Do
don't.
people actually want a WarioWare with mouse controls would be cool though.
It would, but do I gotta jiggle my dick in it?
I I really hope not. All right. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I actually played this. I'm gonna say this a lot of times because I played so many of these, but
Unlike,
it is sort of just
like me, I'm a fake gamer here. I feel like such a.
I
faker.
played it. It's like a 1 or 2 hour long like extra campaign. It's not very long. It doesn't. I don't see much of it that really uses the Switch 2 tech, but it is just more Forgotten Land, and Forgotten Land is a good game. So I'd put it in C.
Yeah, I can't opine in this. Frankly, it's just not.
No.
I didn't play the original. I'm not the biggest. I mean, I like Kirby, but I just don't care too much. Frankly, I don't really give too much of a damn.
Now this is going to be an interesting one. Did you like Legends Arceus?
I thought Legends Arceus was the greatest Pokemon game I played for a very simple reason.
Because it's not so much a turn-based RPG.
No, because I didn't read a single line of dialogue. It was
Okay, all right,
it was fantastic, really. I mean, I just skipped. I mean, I remember because I tried playing Diamond that year, or not Diamond. I tried playing Black and White, and I was like, man, this reading stuff's making me bored. So I went into ours.
Oh, it's just gone worse.
Yeah, and so I went into ours. I was like, I'm just gonna skip the dialogue. Who gives a damn? It was a really fun game. I mean, the game was fun. I always like to compare it to Bug Snacks, which I think is a comparison not a lot of people make, but because like there's this. Not the common Pokemons, but like certain special Pokemons, you have to solve a little puzzle to get to them and to like capture them, and I really quite like that. I thought that was a very good idea, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, the gameplay was so much fun. I skipped so much dialogue. I generally did not know. I do not know what happens in that story. I mean this. I did not read. I remember I was doing the Melly part, and I was streaming it back in my Pina the Pina days, right? And I remember going in the final battle with Melly. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy, and someone went, this girl. Someone went, guy, you mean? I'm like, guy, really? Okay. So yeah, I do enjoy that game, but why do you ask?
Yeah, because Legend ZA is sort of a follow-up to the game, and I had a very similar impression. I like the gameplay; it's pretty good gameplay. The story in Legends Arceus was just abysmal. There were so many characters; all the characters were over-designed. The plot was taking itself way too seriously for what was just kind of just not very serious, and nobody really cared. And Legends ZA is sort of that same case, but arguably it's even worse because Legends ZA, it's in this small city, so there's not as much potential for like open world zones. So it's a lot more reliant on the narrative, the story, and the pacing of it.
Yeah,
And I just lost interest, and I haven't beaten it since.
yeah, I believe we have.
We do have a
Yeah, we
we
have
have
a
a caller.
caller.
Yeah. I will drag them in. Welcome into the call, PJ.
Uh, I can barely. I don't know if it's just
I
me.
I believe I think it might be a noise suppression,
Oh,
or maybe a much more fundamental issue.
it's very hard to hear you right now. I don't know if
They're at the bottom of a well right now.
it
They're
might.
trying to.
Then we might need to call the fireman, get you out of that well. PJ, can you fix your microphone? Oh, there you go.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, yeah, that would.
Oh,
Okay, I have something to say about Legends ZA. I think the base game, okay, it was mediocre. It was not good. It was not
yeah.
the worst thing ever, but it was not very good either. Have you played the DLC for it?
I haven't gotten that far.
Oh,
What is wrong with
Oh.
the
I'm
DLC?
willing to be enlightened because I don't see myself beating it.
the DLC is maybe the single worst thing Nintendo has ever published. It is genuinely one of the worst things ever. It is mind-bogglingly awful. It is the worst game on the Switch right now.
Jesus.
Okay,
There's
it is
no.
it is genuinely that bad.
It is.
Okay, so first of all, it is 30 euros. It is half the price of the base game.
That is one
Yes.
expensive.
And-
That is
And
expensive.
and what you get for that? Okay, what you get for that is you get. Well, it's just the worst thing ever. What can I say? Like, what you do basically is you activate those thingy zones. I don't know. I'll call them that. And you go to the places on the map, and then they take you to hyperspace Lumios or whatever, which literally it just turns the area white and confines you to like a small space.
What?
And then in that area, it just spawns like groups of random Pokemon.
What is it like?
And that's it. That is all you do. You just go to those zones, you catch the Pokemon that are randomly decided, and that's it. And there's also more boss fights that are horrible. You remember the boss fights from the first Legends game? How they were terrible.
Yeah.
So in ZA, they're like better, but still terrible.
They're still terrible.
So
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 wait.
the DLC it's literally just the exact same map, but in white, and the Pokemon are random. And you know why this is bad? Because imagine you want to catch all of them,
Oh.
but it's completely random what you get.
Oh.
And you know what? You know what's also really awesome? The story progress of the DLC is also tied to getting the correct thingies. So basically,
Dude.
dude, you need to understand how awful this is. You go activate the thingies. You see it didn't spawn the one you need, so now you have to grind them out until you have enough whatever to spawn more. It is the worst game on the Switch. It is the
It sounds like the coolest thing
awful.
ever.
It
No,
sounds.
it's
It's like.
I tried it out and it was so bad I couldn't bring myself to finish it. And you know me, I like Pokemon
It's
a
true.
normal amount,
It's true.
a very
Normal,
normal
normal,
amount.
yeah. How many? This so to who doesn't know, TJ here. I will be. I'm on the Discord server with him. I'll go on his channel. It's like, oh, I've just spent like 16 hours shiny hunting while doing whatever.
I have thousands of hours playing Pokemon Heart Gold, okay? I even really like the Switch Pokemon games, okay? Mostly. But
Except for
let me
ZA.
tell you this. The expansion for ZA is the single worst thing that this company has ever released. And I don't think they could make something worse if they tried. I think it is purely just shit. It's awful. I don't know what else to say. It is really that bad. Do not play the DLC for Legends CA. Do not buy it. It's a scam. It's a scam.
Yeah.
They're selling you. They're making you pay 30 euros, half the price of the original game, for something that they probably made with ChatGPT in 10 minutes.
So I mean, I think really we can't do much about this. I'll give you the choice to pick the ranking this game goes in, which from what I'm hearing, I can take a gander at what's gonna happen here.
If this game had never gotten an expansion, I would say it's B or C tier. But please, just for that DLC, put it in F tier. At the very lowest part of F tier. It
The
really is
very
that bad.
lowest.
At the very lowest part of S tier. Jesus Christ. See, I'm
The
glad.
Legends CA expansion, it personally came to my house and murdered my entire family.
That's bad. That's pretty bad. If a game did that to me, I would be pretty upset. I would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just that's all I had to say. I really hated the expansion for this game, and it is perhaps the worst thing I've ever spent money on. And if I could get that money back, I would. I absolutely would. It was not worth it. It was terrible.
All right.
Absolutely terrible. Absolutely horrendous. Do not play the DLC. It is not worth it. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. That was eye opening. I don't know about you, but that was eye opening to me. Um,
Now we're gonna have to speed this up because we've got a few more games to put it to go through. Hyrule Warriors. It's just another Hyrule Warriors. It's good. It's fun. It's I wouldn't say it sort of like bends the formula or does anything too amazingly new.
I will.
It's just fun.
I will trust you on that because, damn, I have no idea. I have just no idea, really.
I wasn't the big fan of Age of Calamity, but this new one is it's pretty good.
I played through the entirety of Age of Calamity, and yep,
It sure is a game.
it sure is a game. What would you rank it as?
I put it B.
All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's an improvement over Calamity. It doesn't sort of it doesn't flip it on its head, but it's better. Kirby Air Riders was a massive surprise for me. I never saw myself liking this game so much. I didn't really care about the original. But then they had the sort of the open network test for Air Riders, and I played like 20 hours of that playtest before it released. And then I got the game and I played it some more, and it is just the single player. It's fine. A lot of the other modes are sort of just fine. The races aren't the best, but when it comes to City Trial, oh my god, it is good. It is one of the best party games out there.
Yeah, well, I didn't buy it because Mario Kart World was $80, and I'm in university, right? Not right now, but I was in university in London, the most expensive city in Europe. And I thought it would be a callous decision to buy another Switch game that I was probably not gonna play because I'm such a Mario Kart fiend. I just don't think it would have been worth it in my situation.
It's a very different thing. It's a very different style. It's more chaos than sort of more chaos, more hectic fun, akin to Smash Bros. Obviously because this is Sakurai, than Mario Kart World, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair
So
enough.
I'd put it personally in A. I'd put it in A.
All right, the big one here.
Metro Prime 4. We did talk about this briefly in the Lost episode, 3 weeks ago, and I sort of went on my thoughts there very briefly, but I'll go over it briefly again. I think everything about this game is fantastic. The visuals are fantastic. The music is fantastic. The atmosphere is fantastic. I'd say the combat is fantastic. The only thing that is not fantastic, well, two things: the writing and the pacing and the level design overall. Just the design of the game. It feels like they put their resources into everything except the actual design of the game, because it is one of the most polished games on the Switch and the Switch 2, but it just doesn't have that design to back it up. It has two areas that are just amazing, and then the rest are just nothing. So it has a lot to love. It has a lot to hate. And I've been very kind to it. I've been kinder than I really should have been, considering how excited I was for it. But in the end, after everything, I put it in B. Even though like the end portion of the game is just abhorrent. It's like one of the worst parts of any Metroidvania ever. But it has some really good parts, really good elements to it. And I enjoyed it. The Switch 2 of Animal Crossing was like a $5 DLC. Who cares about? Cares. Who
At
cares?
least it's,
Nobody.
what does it add even?
It like adds mouse controls to like making the houses. You know what? It's not F.
Yeah.
It's like it's just $5. Who cares?
Yeah,
It's
for
Animal
$5,
Crossing.
that sounds like it could have been free, but yeah, for $5, that's not too bad. Yeah, D is fine.
Mario Tennis Fever. You wanted this game really badly.
I want this game.
I ended up getting it.
Yeah, I want this game really badly. And again, I was in London University, no salary. I had to, save money. I didn't buy it, so what I did instead was I got my old copy that I totally own of Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube, and I played. I literally did everything in that game. I love Mario Power Tennis. I'm sorry, I know this is not what this is about, but I just really like that game. It's a really good tennis game, really good Mario game.
It is fun, yeah.
I don't know if this game is good. It might be.
It's good. It's decent. It's. I mean, as is with any Mario sports game, it's not the best thing ever. And it's definitely an improvement over the last Mario Tennis game, but I wouldn't say it's a dramatic improvement. How it's sort of. It's a lot of reuse of assets, kind of bare bones in one sense. But it is still fun. Story mode sucks, but who cares about the story mode? Nobody plays Mario sports games for the story mode. Nobody does that.
There's some people who do it for Super Mario Sluggers, I believe, which is a fun enough story mode, but no, yeah, they're usually not very good.
Yeah, I'd put it in B. The Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I did not play this. And I'm still trying to get into the Xenoblade franchise, but I've heard it made the game look worse than the Switch 1 version.
Yeah, which what the audience was saying here is that the game itself is at 60 FPS, but the UI elements are at 30 FPS from what I hear, which sounds very.
I think it also uses some kind of upscaling. Instead, it doesn't improve the because it's trying to bring it up to 4K, right? And because of that, not just 4K, but just 1080p in handheld. But because none of the assets are in that resolution, it uses some kind of crummy upscaling that I hear looks decent in TV mode, but once you use it in handheld mode, it makes the game look worse than it did before.
Yeah, that sounds scrummy. I would just put it in F, really. I mean, that's not...
Yeah. Pocopia, I don't think this is a game you're ever going to get into. It's...
No, I hate that. I hate that little freak. I genuinely hate that little freak.
The Ditto?
It looks so ugly. Oh my god. I mean, Pokemon Company's so good at making cute things. How did they make something so goddamn ugly?
It was it's actually it was a surprise hit, and I'm surprised of just how much content and how much love was put into it. This doesn't feel like it doesn't feel real to me that this is a real game. It just hasn't hit me how much content there is, how much quality there is, and how polished it is. Of course, it's not, you know, a genre that I'm particularly too into. You know, I'm not too. I did get into Animal Crossing for a bit, but I did have my issues with it. I don't like games like, Stardew Valley, but Pokopia, really good. It's a really good game for what it is. It's more of an adventure game than really, like a creative, life sim game. Um, Surprisingly, but what is there to like build stuff and to experiment and just the overall pacing the story and finding the different Pokemon and doing quests for them, little missions. It's a lot of fun. It is very good, and it is one of the best games on Switch. And I'm not surprised that they put it as like part of the bundle. Like the bundle right now, Switch 2 is you get to choose either Bonanza, Mario Kart World, or Pocopia, and I think that's perfect. These are the three best games of the system right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're good. They're good system sellers. And these last two,
Um, you did play the Switch 2 edition for Wonder,
I did.
and
I did. I thought it was very good.
it is good. It is good. I do think the multiplayer stuff is pretty underwhelming in the sense that you can't sort of you either have to play locally or you have to find specific friends to play online multiplayer with. You can't do like random sessions with people on the online. You have to do it with friends. You have to set up a lobby and then invite people, and I think that's really crummy. It does add some challenges, sort of like New Super Mario Bros. U, and it has adds some boss fights which are really good. And
Yeah.
they're a fun time waste for like 3 or 4 hours, and then you're sort of just done with them.
Yeah, I think the challenges and the boss fights are definitely the best part. I mean, boss fights is what Wonder needed because the other boss fights in
Yeah.
the games are really crummy.
That was the worst part.
Yeah, and so now they added although it's the Koopalings, which I would rather it wasn't, but they're so good, I don't even really care. But and the challenges, and I think Nintendo is so averse to doing this, and I think they would have such a big online presence with online gamers. But I don't know if you know about this. Back in the Wii era, Mario Kart Wii for many years had a challenge mode that would give a weekly challenge. Every week, yeah, which is so interesting that they did that and then they never brought it back because that just keeps activity on in the online and people love those challenges. Like sometimes, so little times, but sometimes I'll like, oh, I feel like playing Bloons Tower Defense 6, right? And I just don't want to just do a little game, so I do. Oh, they have the challenges, so I'll boot it up and do like a challenge and lose like 2 times. And I'm like, I don't know how to play this game that well, and then turn it off. But it's a fun thing to have. So I wonder why they do these DLC with challenges and they don't do a weekly or monthly thing like they used to with
Yeah,
Mario Kart Wii.
it is odd. It feels like the one thing that goes against the Switch 2 edition, even though it is quite enjoyable, it feels like you're paying $20 for what essentially should have been the post game for Mario Wonder. This should have been in the base game. As if this, I already think Mario Wonder is pretty close to perfect, but if it included those challenges and those boss fights, it may as well have been a perfect game. But you have to pay $20, and this is only Switch 2 for some reason.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre, but it is what it is. It is what it is, frankly. It's not
So I'll put it in B.
it's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. It's enjoyable. It's fun. This one released recently, and I've played it, but not too much of it considering it's recent. And I've been meaning to play more of it. What I've played of it is pretty enjoyable. Of course, it is catered to kids, very obviously, and that is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Great game. Way better than you think. I've seen the comparison made. It's sort of like Super Mario 64. You jump into different levels, and it changes each time. You're trying to make discoveries, and you're sort of like a scientist on an adventure, trying to research into these creatures. Research into these creatures. And it's a very whimsical game, very fun game. A lot more fun than you think. But it is still simple. You can't die. You can't take damage, and I feel like that's sort of in his favor in the end. It's a simple game. You sort of just turn your mind off and have a bit of fun, and it's more of, having fun on appreciating the different little creatures and the amount of effort and love that was poured into this art book.
Yeah, and I wish I had the sort of what do you call it? What's the term? Dispendable income? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
To buy this game and play it, but I feel like it's not the most worthwhile purchase, even though I love the art style and I think the new sort of gameplay mechanic is so interesting. But it is what it is. It's fine. It looks like a great game. Even just off
It
of
is.
vibes, I would put it on like B.
I'd have to play more of it, and it might get worse. But I have seen a couple clips of like later in the game where it does. I wouldn't say it goes in a different direction, but it gets a lot weirder, and it has a lot more weird creatures. So I'm very interested to see what it has to offer. So I'd say, does it go with Copia right? I'd say it's at the top.
Yeah, top of B sounds right to me, and I guess that's really our tier list.
Yeah.
We're running a bit over schedule here, but I mean, I feel like this is a fair tier list of the year one, and I think this is how a console's game lineup usually is. And if you remove Switch One editions and Welcome Tour and the online system, you'll see that most games are B and above.
Yeah.
If not almost all of them, really. Now that I'm looking. Except for I think Jamboree is the one that is the outlier.
Well, Jamboree TV is a Switch 2 edition.
Yeah, but it is new content at least.
It is new content.
But
I
would say
I think the
I would say Nintendo Switch 2 has a very good lineup, is what I would say.
I think the biggest concern has just been overall that while there has been a lot of solid games and there's been a spotlight put on weirder projects that you wouldn't usually see, especially not for the first year of a console, the concern is that, we don't have enough S-tier games. We don't have enough, big hitters. We don't have 3D Mario. We don't have Zelda. We don't have Pokemon yet. We don't have all these, or Smash Bros. Or Animal Crossing. They've been sort of focusing more on different IPs, and it's been... I feel like a lot of fans have gotten whiplash and haven't been used to it, and there's been a lot more criticism towards them because of that.
Yeah, I mean, what else can I say? It's just we'll get there. This was the first year of this console. Any last thing you want to say?
No, I'm quite satisfied with this list.
Yeah. So we're running a bit behind schedule, as I just mentioned. But we're gonna get right to it. As you finish this this part of the show, we're gonna be going to a break, and I'll be back with the movies part of the show, which I'm sure you're familiar with now, since we've been hosting this for this is the third episode now. So we're gonna cut to break.
In Lego Israel, the Palestinians get sent to Jaffa Island, but they're still up to no good. Oh no! The Hamas leaders are resisting! Quickly, get the next batch of American aid! Hey! Build the US attack cruiser, launch it into the water, and chase down the Hamas dogs. Blow up their children, lock them up, and bring them back to be beaten and waterboarded. The new Jaffa Island IDF collection for Israel City. Handcuffs and pager bombs not included.
Hello and welcome back to the show. That was a bit of a shorter break, but I mean, we're running over schedule, so I'll get right to business. Most people who know me have probably been surprised at the last 3 episodes of the show. I've managed to stay up with trends and watch things that I would never in my life watch. King among those things, Obsession, because I hate horror and I and I really don't watch that many modern movies, but it's fine. I've had some couple of fun times. The truth is that I tend to hate what's in, like an annoying little film hipster, admittedly, and tend to enjoy films from a bygone era, even when those films have nothing of good to offer. There's this Western series that I really like, that I'm forgetting the name, but I just remember the whole premise of this. One of the movies is that he has a little monkey toy that's a bomb, and he like sets the monkey toy and it walks over to villains and explodes them. It's really bad, but I love watching stuff like that because it's ridiculous. My favorite films of all time, especially the ones that do offer things, are 3 hours long, very little action, and a slow pace and a more subtle way of telling us things. The film that I'm about to talk is a wonderful collection of all those amazing attributes that I adore, and it was released last year as opposed to these other films that, weren't. I'll leave you with a snippet of it.
Все, что находится в этом мешке.
Все ваши тюремные секреты?
А вы кто? Прокурор. Вы получили заявление из спецкорпуса?
Я вас слушаю.
Two Prosecutors, that is the name of the film we're going to be looking at today, and it is a film that I have watched a bit before, and I rewatched today with Fricka. Fricka, just before I get into my little monologue, what could you tell me what you thought of the film actually for a moment?
I quite enjoyed it. It's not the most complex film, I'd say, plot wise, or how it tries to present things or what it tries to say, but it is very effective and efficient in how it does that, and what it tries to aim for, it achieves in stride.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good analysis, and one that we will see later that is not as agreed upon as you would think. Two Prosecutors is a tremendously quiet and slow movie that reminds you that the horror and oppression of tyranny is not just at the end of a bayonet, but also in offices and desks, and where the only risk of blood is a paper cut. It is a slow movie with very little violence. I would even say no violence at all. Wouldn't that be a fair statement to say?
No, yeah. Most of the sort of the more aggressive and more threatening parts of the film are sort of just implied, and there's a lot of subtext in the dialogue and how people move, how people approach one another.
Yeah, there's this fantastic bit of dialogue, in fact, that I was commenting with you after watching this film today, where one of the higher officers, a higher patent officer of the Soviet Union is talking to the main character, a lawyer, and he's talking about how one of the prisoners is diseased and that he can't visit him because he might contract the disease. And it's not entirely very obvious, but it's communicated if you're paying attention to it that he's not really talking about illness, but he's talking about anti-communist ideas. He's talking about treason to the party. That's the illness that he should avoid, and why he should avoid seeing him. But before I get into specifics, like I am right now, because I'm just so excited to talk about this film, I really like it. This film takes the newly appointed party prosecutor Kornev, played by Russian actor Alexander Kuznetsov, who does an absolutely amazing bang-up job, and puts him in charge of investigating a complaint from a prisoner that claims that he has been wrongly imprisoned. What would be an otherwise normal activity for a prosecutor in a democratic country quickly is made evident to the viewer to be lethal. I mean, this is 1930s Russia. This is the height of the Stalinist purge. And why do I tell you this important fact? It's very simple. Because from the moment that the text in the first shot of the film shows up that says Stalinist Russia 1930s, height of the purge, all the tension is set. The tension for the rest of the movie is set. The viewer knows what's about to come. the viewer just doesn't know how it is going to come. Didn't you sort of get that feeling, Fricka, during the whole movie where this character is probably going to get arrested? I don't know how, I don't know when, and I don't know by who.
It's very focused in how it tries to tell its story and what it is trying to tell. Especially, I'm getting into more technical side, but it's very focused, especially in how it portrays things. I'd say visually. There's not too many, like with modern productions. You'd see, like a wide variety of shots, so you get like the rapid change between them. But with Two Prosecutors, it would choose a shot and then stay on it for quite a while and try to tell a story with it.
Yeah, which is something you don't see nowadays because the movie industry is so interested in keeping the attention of the viewer, right? Where doing that sort of risky thing is so hard to do, but this movie does it so magnificently well, and every shot is a painting. It's really a lot of people I've seen compare it to Wes Anderson, which I think is such an unfair comparison because it's really nothing like it. Where Wes Anderson does a lot of symmetry and a lot of very unique, almost fake-looking shots. This actually does the opposite. The shots convey a sort of how slow time is, how everything is so slow. It's grimy, it's gray, everything looks very ugly, and I actually think it's such a bad comparison to Wes Anderson. But as you're saying, yeah, it's not afraid of letting the camera be still and of trusting its viewer to be patient, right?
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you were gonna say?
Well, Stalinist purges, as I was saying about the story, where one wrong move and look into the wrong thing can quickly seal the fate of anyone, and in this case, our protagonist, Kornev. With this context, the film sets up, then, from its very beginning, incredibly high stakes and a constant sense of tension, and which is very interesting because it's sort of set, I would say, this was the first thought when I first watched this movie. This is a very long, very slow episode of Columbo. Not necessarily that we've seen the crime be done, but we know what the criminal is. We know what his MO is. We're just waiting for it to happen, right? It doesn't need to show you that because it is in the public conscience what happened in the 1930s. Nobody needs to be explained what happened in the 1930s in the Soviet Union. We already know that. And it's so interesting. It sets that up so simply, and then it manages to build tension off of that, off of something it doesn't even show, because the viewer would already know it. And as I was saying, the film trusts the viewer's intelligence, which is something I really respect in any filmmaker always. I mean, there is such a tendency to over-explain things, especially if you like Japanese media, where I'm sorry, they have fantastic films, but they over-explain things sometimes. And Western media, with Hollywood and with trying to make a buck, and I'm thinking about Obsession and Backrooms, where they explain exactly what's going on. I feel this film doesn't feel the need to outright tell you what's going on. It just shows you that. I don't know if you would agree with me on there. Some people think the film tells you a lot of things, but I don't know that it does.
No, yeah, there's been a big push, especially with streaming services, to sort of babyfy movies, because there's been a worry that cinema's on a downturn, and the only way to save it is to put it in line with the more attention focused society we're in with short form content, and to make it so it's very very easy to keep track with a movie and very easy to understand what is going on, and just assume as if every single viewer is sort of having a movie in another tab, or like they're playing a game while watching it, or they have it in like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. They're not seeking to accomplish a story that you actually have to focus and draw inferences from it to sort of understand and look into that subtext to follow along.
Yeah, which is especially true for Netflix, whose entire strategy and actually I'm a bit of a Netflix defender. I think they do fantastic shows and fantastic movies, but they do need to fund them. And one of the ways they do this is they do documentaries where everything is over-explained through audio, so you don't need to look at the television to be watching this documentary. Which is interesting in the way where they do business and are able to fund better movies, but it creates a sort of a habit, let's say, in the production company that is Netflix, that even if they try not to, will seep into other productions. Just to finish the plot, to get people who haven't watched the movie sort of able to discuss it with us, Kornev, our main character, then goes through an incredibly bureaucratic system that has the members try to persuade him to turn from trying to get to the truth of the matter, they try to get him to drop the investigation through intimidation, threat, and most prominently, forcing him to wait. We spend a lot of time waiting in this movie. I mean, most of the scenes are quite literally Kornev waiting for something to happen. He's sat down in a waiting room. He's standing, waiting for someone to open the door. It's very efficient in that way, and it's very beautiful the way they do it. And despite what some people say, I think it's very well done, and it gets the message across really well. Kornev gets to an office and must wait to speak to its official. He is then sent to more offices and must wait longer and longer. He climbs up the Soviet bureaucratic ladder to the highly coveted waiting room of the USSR's Attorney General, and is sent back with very little to show for it. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but there is something after that is quite interesting. The movie shows us Kornev in an interesting light as a sort of angel that walks among tempting devils. I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, Fricka, but he has no interest in sex. He's a virgin. Has no interest in food. Has no interest in alcohol. He doesn't even have interest in music. He is incorruptible because of that, because he has no desires. He's imbribable, and therefore a threat to the party in a position of power. Now, if you couldn't get from this description, Two Prosecutors is in fact a very slow movie. For a very good reason, I would say, because showing this bureaucratic process and how it tires you down and how it tries to stop you is what it's trying to do with its pace. It's trying to demonstrate how oppression can be done slowly and in ways that we don't realize are being done. Oppression is not always, as I said, at the tip of a bayonet, at the hilt of a sword. It is sometimes controlled even through the time that you have to spend doing things. Which is why I, knowing the average viewer of films, and every time I watch a film, I like getting opinions from the New York Times. If you've seen the show, I quote them a lot of times. I like getting from The Guardian. I like going to forums online, and I like going into, and this may be the end of me, Letterboxd, because I knew after watching this movie, the moment I would open Letterboxd, I would want to go to New York, get a plane there, so I could jump off the George Washington Bridge like Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, but instead of landing in a tanker and look cool as hell, I just go into the water and become yet another corpse in the Hudson River. Because these people, I can't with these people. Anything that is slow, they hate. They hate. And to prove you here, I have a fantastic review that I got from Letterboxd that I will proceed now to read. I don't know if you've read it yet or not, Fricka, but here it is, everyone. By Talking Rabbits, who gave it a 1 star, glacially slow to the point of self-parody, showing bureaucracy as one of the tools of oppression is absolutely valid, but making the portrayal of bureaucracy so butt-numbingly dull is not. We watch in real time as our protagonist spends several minutes working out which queue to stand in. This, to me, is a completely unfair, review of this. It is just completely unfair to me. First of all, because later on in the review, which I didn't put here, but he does say it, he says that this movie tends to tell, not show. And then in this part of the review, he says, we watch in real time as our protagonist spends several minutes working out which queue to stand in. Which to me is very much showing and not telling. Fricky, can I get your opinion on this?
I don't understand the implication that bureaucracy is not dull. Like, I'm pretty sure it is and what it is trying to portray and how it is trying to portray is accurate.
Yeah.
And I don't understand them trying to say that they shouldn't have made it dull. They should have made it exciting. They should have made bureaucracy exciting. Have you lost your mind?
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous to me. It is. This review to me is just. It seems to me that they've completely lost their plot. This person, they just don't know what this movie is about. Doesn't know what the movie's trying to say. The same review says that the dialogue, is not good. That it's like very boring and very direct. Which I just don't understand how you could think this unless you miss what the dialogue is about. Because every piece of dialogue in this movie is full of double entendres, not to sexual jokes, but as usually this term means, but to, how Korneff, don't do this, you're going to get killed. Korneff, don't go there, you're going to get killed. Korneff, you're going to get arrested if you do this. You are going against the party. Tread carefully. Every single piece of dialogue. Even there's this moment in the film where in the Attorney General's office building where Korneff gets stopped by this guy who's absolutely like going crazy. He's like, he doesn't know where he is. He's sort of weird. And it's like, he's this weird guy and he pulls Korneff to him and sees if he's going to help him or lead him to the exit, which sort of implies there's sort of spies and he's being watched by people. There's this other moment where a very happy guy who he doesn't recognize tries to pretend that they were from the same class, and he's clearly pretending, and it's clearly sort of an NKVD spy. You can sort of tell that he is. So I don't understand. And they say this without saying anything. They communicate all of this without saying it directly, which is so interesting. So I'm wondering, is this film actually slow and is the dialogue actually poor, or do these people just not understand it? And my way to get to the bottom of that is to look at newspapers, as I said. And I went to The Guardian, and who gave it 5 stars, the Guardian journalist. And the title is so strong, I didn't even get the quote, but the title of the article is to prosecutors, a petrifying portrait of Stalinist insurrection, which is such a strong way to put it, and it's, I feel, very accurate. And it's just amazing to me how people can miss things like that. I don't know. Have you ever felt this with like other movies aside from slower movies? I feel like it's always slow movies that the opinion is sort of this.
No, yeah, definitely. There have been so many cases, not just with movies, with most things that I like. You just go on, not just Letterboxd, you go on Twitter, you go on Discord, and you find the most bomb opinion ever that you think that you never imagined in a million years someone would have. And I do understand that it's different strokes for different people, that some people are more drawn to different types of media and they are less able to understand it. But the whole, I feel like The Two Prosecutors is such a simple movie that so much of it is inherent in just understanding normal human interactions to understand what is going on. I don't understand how, even though you don't understand anything that's being said, even though you have to read the subtitles to understand what is going on, everything about it is so inherent and so natural that I don't understand how people can come up with these things.
No, it's I think it's a ridiculous notion to me that people even come up with these things. It's just a bit ridiculous to me. It's and 1-star review to this movie. I understand not liking a movie. I understand that, but I think this is such a problem. And maybe we are to blame to this, but when I go on Letterboxd and I write reviews, which is not as often as I would like it to be, I usually write the positive reviews. I'm not big into writing negative reviews. I don't think it's my forte. I like writing positive things. And look at us too here, right? We have a whole review show, but we're putting so much effort to this. We actually have tried to have an audience, whereas Letterboxd sort of lives off of this hate of these things and lives off of getting audiences to go and write anything they want. It could be a guy who's watched 2 movies, right? 2 movies in his life, could be 5 years old and could not understand anything that happened and has sort of no real say. And he'll go on a movie that he maybe accidentally watched, I don't know, somehow, that has 2 reviews, and he puts a negative review, and then people go on Letterboxd to see, oh, is this movie good? And they see a negative review, and they don't watch it. And I'm not saying this is inherently bad. I'm just saying it's interesting that we let that happen. Whereas, me personally, if I want to get a serious review, I go to a newspaper. I go to a movie like blog. I don't go to somewhere. I don't go to the open square. Let's put it that way, because even you guys that are listening to me, you could disagree with me. You could absolutely disagree with me. You should not be listening to me and thinking, oh, this movie must be really good because he said so, because that's just not how life works, right? And these harsh reviews like that, sometimes I feel like people should be, considering what they're saying a bit more before they post it and whatnot. Because I don't think this review is at all reasonable. I don't think it's reasonable at all. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you post a lot of stuff on the video game site that has reviews.
Backlogged.
But
a lot of it is sort of. It's the same thing with Letterboxd, sort of just screaming into the void, and a lot of people are not going to hear what you say. But it's sometimes it can be very annoying. But.
Yeah, but an interesting thing with Backlogged is when you go onto someone's page and to someone's review, I believe it says how many games they've played, right?
Yes.
And you can very easily see what games they like and don't like, which is interesting because then you can see, oh, they like this game that I don't like. Maybe this opinion isn't really for me. Or, oh, this person's played like 2 games. Maybe they don't really know the intricacies of a game so well, which doesn't happen with Letterboxd as far as I'm aware. I mean, Letterboxd is a terrible app, frankly. It works so bad, and it's so annoying sometimes. I mean, you can't change your profile picture on mobile for some reason. You gotta log into desktop.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But for some reason, and getting to see how many movies someone's watched, what are their favorite movies, what are their 5 stars, you gotta go through so many pages. Such a hard information to get, I always feel. But yeah, it's just, I feel like audiences is the problem here sometimes. Sometimes it's not movies that are bad. Movies like this that try to do something different, something slower, are constantly thrown tomatoes in the public square. And it just saddens me. And it's a bit ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost here, but I get so agitated. What I'm saying is, my point with all of this is that sometimes viewers, and I don't want to be mean, but sometimes viewers are simply, more excited about big explosions, obvious criticisms of society, and in some decades of our media industry, so much patriotism, right? Remember, after 9/11, it was a bunch of patriot movies, and during World War II. This is not a new thing. I mean, after all, you look at something like Broadway in the 30s, and you'll find the same sort of problem. I mean, it's ridiculous. You'll find the same sort of problem. Fantastic and timeless plays, done by fantastic and timeless playwrights that may be popular at the moment, will always be less popular with audiences than easygoing, ultra-patriotic, and surface-level plays. One play that occurs to me like this is Oklahoma, do you know Oklahoma? Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Oklahoma is a little musical from the 30s or 40s, I forget now, that is about a bunch of cowboys in Oklahoma that are going there to like make a farm. That's basically about that. It's ultra American, and it's ultra easy, and it's has very little to say and very little dramatic irony. And this little play that was on Broadway and was so big on Broadway is exactly the problem, the manifestation of the problem that I am saying right now, and that is echoed word to word by the main character of this next movie.
I need a drink.
Big smile.
We write together for a quarter of a century, and the first show he writes with someone else is gonna be the biggest hit he ever had. Am I bitter? Larry? Yes.
For over 20 years.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone
Wise guy.
without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
Now, that was a bit of a snippet from the trailer of Blue Moon, which released last year and went mostly unnoticed by most critics and whatnot, which I think is such a shame because it's a very good movie in my opinion, and it's one of those movies where it's more like a play, and I love those sort of movies, you know, My Dinner with Andre and the such, and I love movies like that. It's mostly dialogue. It's very similar to Two Prosecutors, and I think I put these two because they are evidence of there still being this artists that want to make slower, less explosive movies that speak to audiences, but they know that audiences don't want that, and Blue Moon is exactly about that. I'll explain the plot to you. Blue Moon follows the reaction of playwright Lawrence Hart, real playwright that existed. This is a real story. Well, dramatized and imagined, but these are real people that existed. Fantastically interpreted by Ethan Hawke, by the way, fantastic actor, as he wails in a bar at the end of his partner's new play, Oklahoma, that has been critically written with someone else other than him. The movie centers Hart's biggest obstacles, alcoholism and obsession with quality dramatic irony, which he knows makes for timeless pieces, but seldom makes for breakout hits that put box offices on overtime. And I have to say this, it's true, because this is the guy that makes My Funny Valentine, that song. He's composed that. He composed Blue Moon. That's his song, too. And Blue Moon was, and this is more of a personal experience, Blue Moon was one of the first jazz standards that I ever listened to, where I was like, oh my God, I love jazz. And I really do like it, but it's such a timeless piece. Especially there's this version of the song interpreted by, I'm forgetting the name now. It's one of the black singer who did, she was an activist, a black activist in the 40s, but she has a beautiful voice. I'm forgetting her name now, but it's a beautiful song, timeless song. There's no way someone could hear it and not think it's a beautiful song, and was written by him. This is a movie that is absolutely worth watching. And that falls into one of my favorite film tropes, as I was saying, the one-room film that takes place entirely in New York's iconic Sardi's bar. And it relies on a wonderfully witty and very 40s-like dialogue to entertain its viewer, if you like that. And it understands that this sort of dialogue works with a different type of acting than we're used to. If you saw from the trailer, it's all very fast talking with charm that we're used to from Humphrey Bogart, Jimmy Stewart, and Cary Grant, with witticisms and lots of things being thrown in, and it's just a very nice, very, very nice listen. Blue Moon then captures, without cheap tricks like black and white or 4x3 and any filters whatsoever, the feel of entertainment business of the era, and survives strongly off of the mood and atmosphere it creates, as it makes you yearn for the time where you had to go to a bar to meet up with people and you could smoke, drink, and chat to your heart's content. Maybe that's just me, but I always like seeing that in movies. Aside from that, the movie seems to have its main focus the many faults of the industry, not just back then, but reflected in the modern day. And as I was saying, the movie takes this playwright whose dramatic irony is being rejected for an easier cowboy story, and throws him off, and he gets lost in his alcoholism, and he would die 5 months after Oklahoma releases. I believe it's 5 months. Maybe it's another number. A couple of months. And I think, wouldn't you agree that this sort of speaks to this moment in media that we are living in?
Yeah, when it comes to the current media landscape.
Before you say anything, I would just like to say that call-ins are now open for you to join and share your opinion. If you think there is a problem with audiences, if there's a film that occurs to you that audiences didn't receive and you thought it was an unfair way of receiving it, or any other movie you want to talk about, please do come on call. Sorry, Frank. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So when it comes to the current media landscape, there's a lot of like era pieces, like movies that are trying to capture a specific era, and some are successful, but I'd say I mean I haven't seen, like, last year Marty Supreme takes place in the 50s, and I'd say it does a decent job at capturing that era. I haven't seen Sinners. I'm pretty sure that takes place, what, the 19th century?
I believe it's the turn of the century, but or
Turn of the
20s.
century.
I believe it's 20s, because I think there's a car. But also I wouldn't go with Sinners because it's a vampire story, and that's sort of an.
Oh well, yeah, but it's not quite an era.
Yeah, it's not really quite an era movie, and really, from what I've seen, it feels very like the era. And you mentioned Marty Supreme, and I agree. The fact that it's in the 50s, it could have so well have been in modern day, right?
Yeah,
there's really no,
it
no
feels,
reason.
yeah, it feels like a classic Safdie movie. Like I mean, it doesn't feel quite as modern as, I'd say, Uncut Gems. It's sort of like brother movie, but it has that same kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and it doesn't really represent the 50s very well, I feel, also. So it's a bit bizarre that they went with that. I guess it's because ping pong was sort of big at the time. I don't know. I feel like they could have done the same thing. Maybe it's just they wanted that sort of mood. But that actually brings me to one of the topics I wanted to talk about, which is I love this movie, but it might be, or maybe it's not, but it might be pandering to this sort of nostalgia that we have for this idea that things used to be better back then, and it's a very big political idea right now. And do you think that's sort of a problem that exists in the movie industry and the show industry, and even now, let's think about the game industry. There's a lot of medieval games. RGG is putting out a game that takes place in literally 4 eras of the past. There's a lot of games set in the past and a lot of media set in the past.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a branching off of that?
Yeah, I remember, like going back to what you said about, like, after 9/11. After 9/11, there was a big push for sort of media that is based in modern times, and we saw that in games, or like Call of Duty going to the modern era, and then we saw that with movies, more movies set in like current era, and there was a big push for that. But we've sort of gone back. We sort of rebounded where almost every single movie is set in the past, because the era we live in is, I wouldn't call it dystopic, but it's so based in technology, and it's so unnatural in many senses that I feel like so many filmmakers and so many creatives don't want to set their films in this era, and they want to sort of make more escapist pieces to the past.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting thing you mentioned, because there's sort of a discussion in film and television, which is, there's always been this discussion among academics, and is what defines genre, right? And genre is a very fickle thing, because it's defined by movies that existed before. So it's sort of an Ouroboros where it eats its tail. And there's this very discussion going on now about sci-fi, where you look at shows that used to be called sci-fi, and you don't think that can be done anymore, because it's become somehow very true to our reality. I mean, most every artificial intelligence film that exists like from before the 2010s, there is some sort of argument, and some academics make it this argument that they shouldn't be called sci-fi anymore because that sort of implies that it is a fiction when it really isn't a fiction anymore. This is the reality we're living in. And do you think that has to do with it? Do you think it's some sort of escapism from this bleak sort of technologically dependent reality that we live in?
No, especially with AI now. I feel like if a movie was to be set in current day, there's something much more compelling about making something that is more like a near future dystopic, because there's so much potential in AI. There's so much potential in technology, in the negative sense that there's an interest in either making something that's set in the future based on our reality, as opposed to setting it in modern day, unless it's kind of sort of removed. There are a couple things, like I found it so weird that there's very few like shows and very few movies that, off the top of my head, that sort of touch on the pandemic or have it set like partially in the pandemic. There's very few, like The Bear or what's the name? Industry. That's the one.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know Industry went through the pandemic.
It is set in the modern. It's set in current day, even though it may not. Industry very much set in the modern day because each season is focusing on like the different issues of the current era. There's a lot on like stuff to do with, like, they have their own version of like OnlyFans in that in the most recent season of Industry. But yeah.
No, that's interesting. I think because it's going to be such a footnote, because you think of the influenza, right? The influenza flu in 1919 and during World War I, and it was such a footnote because World War I was happening, and I feel like it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be such a footnote because all this AI stuff is happening and all that stuff with technology. But actually, that sort of reminds me. Would you have sex with the robots?
What?
They do that in movies sometimes. I was wondering, what do we think of that, like, ethically?
Ethically? I mean, okay. Let's. We've gone off the deep end.
No, yeah, that was a little.
No. You committed. We're
right,
going to the company now.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Would you? Okay, so if a movie, let's think, a movie right now comes out and there's a fucking AI brothel, right? Well, is it then the right of the filmmaker to demonstrate how off the deep end society and that universe has gone? Would it be right to show them having like just a graphic scene of them having sex with a robot?
What I will say is, because AI is so dependent on almost like our industry right now and culture as a whole, AI is so dependent on sort of sucking up like
interesting
elements of the past and different pieces of information and knowledge that we've gathered. I feel this is why are we the issue with robots is maybe if AI is the way it is, are those robots gonna have the same identity like stripped off from other people? Like, if you go to an AI brothel and they are they have the same face as like a celebrity, that is not ethical.
No, that's not ethical. But that's really not ethical. I think we should. I think the answer is no. Good job, guys. We did it. We did it.
Oh my shit! Sorry,
I don't know what that was. But as I was saying,
I'm missing a wheel on my chair. Don't worry about it.
No, that's just not ideal. But going back to Blue Moon, I mean, it is a beautiful movie. And it's such a
the issue of robots.
No, I had to change that. It's it's such a beautiful movie, and so little people watched it, and made so little ripples. And one of the problems I feel like why no one heard of it is it wasn't nominated for an Oscar. an Oscar. Nobody says that word like that. Anyway, for an Oscar, and I think that's such an issue that so many people I talk with. Hey, did you watch this movie? And they'll go no. And then you ask any of the Oscar movies, and it's like, yeah. Two Prosecutors was in Cannes. It was in the Cannes Festival, which is the most highly regarded, still nowadays, festival in the world. When did it stop mattering? I don't understand. Is it not absolutely... Again, I think... Once again, is it... The question that I'm trying to pose is, the problems with movie, game, show, iPad, food, everything industry, is it really... Is the onus on the company, or is the onus on the audience, is what I'm trying to ask.
Like, we've got the popular movies that are sort of coming out that I don't think require like award season or these kind of like festivals to sort of put a light on them or to make them popular, like Obsession and The Backrooms, which you talked about 2 weeks ago. And these films, they don't quite the social media is doing enough of a job, but when it comes to movies that don't have those elements carrying them from like social media and the internet carrying them, it doesn't feel like many are getting a highlight outside of award season. And it's going back, it's the reason why I think letterbox users, I think, is some of the most insufferable people on this entire planet.
It's true. But actually, before you continue, there is a species of human that might be more insufferable.
What is that?
That is IMDb users. Who's doing this? It's such.
Who?
I have a friend who logs everything on IMDb. It's so weird. Anyway, please continue. Why are they insufferable?
I mean, I feel like a lot with Letterboxd. I feel like they sort of just. People are not being true to themselves. They are not watching what they want to watch. They are watching what is popular and then writing a review so that they can capitalize on it and be with what is in. And especially with award season, it's like, oh, these movies are being nominated. I have to watch them all, and I have to have a controversial, contrarian opinion on it. I can't vote for one battle after another. I have to be a contrarian. I have to be big on Sinners or big on Marty Supreme or big on some. It's never a movie you've never heard of. They always have to pick a side on the conversation, and that's why you never hear of these smaller movies. I've never heard of these smaller movies that you're bringing up today.
Yeah, it's true.
This is the first time.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not bad movies. I mean, you watched Two Prosecutors. I didn't make you watch the other one, but actually that other movie might be a bit more your style because it is just a play, which you are very enthusiastic about, or used to be at least. And it's such a good. They're both great movies. I mean, they're not the be all end all. But I would say, aside from Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, those two are my favorite from that year because they're just a bit of a breath of fresh air. I mean, Marty Supreme, we've seen it a million times, that movie. And it's not even like, what's it called? Uncut Gems is a better movie. It's Marty Supreme is Uncut Gems again. But Uncut Gems is a bit it's more interesting.
Uncut Gems if it was a better.
But
it's second attempt.
I don't even agree with that because Uncut Gems at least has this undeniable personality, you know, with Mike Francesa and what's the main actor? I forget his name. How can I forget his name?
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. It's such a unique thing. But yeah, I see what you mean. It's a more solid movie, but it's this movie again. So it really is a lot of times it feels like if you're not doing exactly what the award season wants, you're probably not going to see these movies. And I mean, have you ever gone to the cinema, like recently? You look at the cinema posters, and I'm like, what are these? What are any of these? Who is watching these? So I'm at a fault, too, there. But sometimes they look really crummy. And these two, the only reason I got to know of them is because I read the newspapers, the reviews of movies. So I actually do get the new movies. And if the review interests me, I go and watch it. And that sort of doesn't exist. And marketing for these is really just non-existent otherwise.
I do think it's unfortunate, and it's a broader issue, especially now that it's been disseminating in gaming as well with the Game Awards. It just it's something that you cannot escape of people trying to pick sides and sort of pushing to the side and ignoring everything else, even though there is just so much more than like the 7 or 8 things that they decide to nominate for. Because it is so many, it's impossible to nominate them, even if they've increased the amount for like Best Picture at the Oscars.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, with the Game Awards, it's even worse because they're like racist.
What?
They're not, but you know.
Oh no, yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah,
but it's-
no, no, no. Like
like
Japanese games, never.
Yeah.
It's from software, maybe Nintendo, and that's it. That's all you're getting from.
Yeah, which we've talked, and I mean the Oscars is the same thing. At least a Brazilian movie won. Did it win the Brazilian movie? I forget. But they're getting nominated more often. These Brazilian movies, that's good. Russian movies. I've never seen a Russian movie in the Oscars, so that is what it is. European.
Oh
movies.
god, that remind me. It's really silly. Like you know at the Grammys, Bad Bunny won like Best Album, and it was like a huge moment.
Yeah.
Immediately afterwards, do you know what they did? They added a Best Latin Album to the Grammys. So now they're gonna segregate it. They're gonna section off these poor guys.
Oh my god. The idea that Latin and foreign is a different movie category. It's like the animation people. You know, their big fight with the Oscars because animation movies are never going to win Best Oscar because, you know, they have the best animation movie. So how would it ever win? It's a ridiculous notion that these different types of things. I mean, it's lobbying and whatnot. It is what it is. Do you have any final remarks? Because I've said all I thought about these two movies and about audiences and how I think they're sort of ruined a little bit. Of course, there's an audience for everything.
No, I do think. I mean, it is partially on our faults why some movies don't get the limelight, but I do wish that the light could be put on some of these smaller films because I did enjoy Two Prosecutors and I never heard of it before and I probably never have heard of it if it weren't for you. So it is a shame the way the film industry is in and the way Letterboxd is in.
Yeah.
User base.
Yeah, it's this is definitely not the last time we're going to be talking about it.
Fiends.
We've not quite run out of time, but we have run out of content, so let's not prolong this. That's about all we're going to do today, and we'll be back, as has been for the last few weeks, every Thursday from 10 to 12.
I am Frigga.
You know, I'm going to start saying that instead of you. I think that's a bit less. Oh, soccer. Yeah. No, that's true. My name is Peanut. Come on.
And this is what. Why do I have to say it? It's yours. You have to say it.
All right, my name is Peanut. This has been Screenside. Fuck you. I just wanted to do a little cool thing. I like having a little cool thing. It's hey, come on. It's just a little cool thing. Is it so hard for you to do it? Penis.
säga, den sitter blottad i särklar och kvinnan i papper. Meter för meter så. Ja, det där är... Frekvensområden och två sändare så upprepar det. Till slut finner de varandra på något sätt. Efter så får du så att säga den sitter blottad i särklar och kvinnan i papper. Meter för meter så. Ja, det där är... Ja, då är det ju detta. Du har den här båten, du går under den här salthaltig grej som man lägger sig i salthaltig. Jag tänkte på att det nästan är lustfri. Jo, att man inte är trådlöst. Det finns inte ett trådlöst system som fungerar i vattnet. Men de håller på med frågor. Efter så får du så att säga den sitter blottad i särklar och kvinnan i papper. Meter för meter så. Ja, det där är... Frekvensområden och två sändare så upprepar det. Till slut finner de varandra på något sätt. Efter så får du så att säga den sitter blottad i särklar och kvinnan i papper. Meter för meter så. Ja, det där är... Ja, då är det ju detta. Du har den här båten, du går under den här salthaltig grej som man lägger sig i salthaltig. Jag tänkte på att det nästan är lustfri. Jo, att man inte är trådlöst. Det finns inte ett trådlöst system som fungerar i vattnet. Men de håller på med frågor. Efter så får du så att säga den sitter blottad i särklar och kvinnan i papper. Meter för meter så. Ja, det där är... Frekvensområden och två sändare så upprepar det. Till slut finner de varandra på något sätt. Efter så får du så att säga